Hello Gemini, my name is Keith Aswell and I'm a professional astrologer. I won't spend a lot of time introducing myself because there's been over 1/3 viewings of my videos now on YouTube videos, and so you've probably watched one of my videos prior to this, and it's nice to be able to have this opportunity to be able to look at the movements of the planets through your houses of your horoscope, Gemini, during May and June 2015. Before we go on to that, I'm just going to tell you that you are primarily a spiritual being, Gemini. You are primarily a spiritual being. You are not a human being seeking your spirituality. You are a spiritual being expressing yourself at the level of consciousness called human. But make no mistake about that, you are a very spiritual being and you are ruled by the second ray of love, wisdom. So you're a very loving person, Gemini. Now what I'm going to do for you here during the months of May and June 2015, we all have tests. We all have tests that bring out our powers, strengths and talents within ourselves. Okay, so we must have those tests, and they come through Mars, which introduces a lot of energy into the scheme of things, and Saturn, which introduces obstacles and blockages and hurdles for us to climb over, and then in the climbing over we develop strengths and so forth. Now what I'm going to do first of all is look at those two bodies and see what's going on in your horoscope during this particular period, and then I'm going to look at the joy, and the joy comes from the Sun and from Venus and from Jupiter. And so just sit back and relax now, Gemini, and we'll have some fun together, eh? Now we start off on the 1st of May with Mars in the 12th house of your horoscope, and that means, Gemini, that with Mars in the 12th house of your horoscope you can be your own worst enemy. There's a lot of secret worries and inner stresses inside of yourself that you're not openly discussing with other people. Okay, so you've got a lot of solitude there and reflection and thinking upon things and so forth, and you really can be your own worst enemy because you can allow yourself to slip back into old habit patterns at the beginning of the month with Mars in the 12th house of your horoscope. Now it moves into the 1st house of your horoscope on the 12th of May. With Mars in the 1st house of your horoscope, Gemini, there's a lot of extra energy there, but you can be rather impulsive in your actions and commencing and starting projects and ideas over the following 2 or 3 weeks. So just be careful that things that you commence and start are not based on impulse, and that you're not aggressive and too dominant with people and that sort of thing. You've got to try and relax a lot more with Mars in the 1st house of your horoscope, and try and relax, do a bit of meditation and so forth, even if it's only for 5 minutes every day. A little bit of meditation gets you down into a more relaxed state, but don't act on impulse. Don't commence and start things based on impulse. Think carefully about what you're doing with Mars in the 1st house of your horoscope. Now then, Mars on the 25th of June moves into the 2nd house of your horoscope. With Mars in the 2nd house of your horoscope for 2 or 3 weeks, Gemini, there's bound to be impulsiveness with money and stresses and tensions focusing through financial matters, but not only that, matters that relate to your sense of security, feeling safe emotionally, feeling safe mentally, and feeling safe spiritually. There's a lot of stresses and tensions in that particular area of your life, so you can be impulsive with money. There can be stresses and tensions in your life focusing through financial matters from the 25th of June onwards for 2 or 3 weeks. And looking at Saturn in your horoscope, Saturn is sitting in the 7th house of your horoscope currently, and during this 2-month period. And with Saturn in the 7th house of your horoscope, there's a lot of tests there to do with relationships and partnerships. So if you're in a relationship, you're experiencing a lot of tests and frustrations and difficulties. Your partner is perhaps experiencing a lot of difficulties in life, and there's frustrations and difficulties for you also because Saturn happens to be retrograde. So that's a double whammy in your 7th house of relationships. So there can be problems in relationships, though what Saturn is trying to say to you is that all matters that relate to your partner and your relationship with any partner in your life is something that you've got to use time, energy and money wisely, economically and according to the law of economy. So you've got to make sure that your partner and yourself don't allow things to get out of hand. There can be a lot of frustrations with your partner's employment and work and health and all sorts of things like that as well. So that's an area of potential there for stresses in your life, okay? Now we look at the joy for you, Gemini. Now we start off on the 1st of May with the Sun in the 12th house of your horoscope, and it's been there for a little while, but it's in the 12th house of your horoscope to start this period off. And when the Sun is in the 12th house of your horoscope, you can be your own worst enemy, Gemini, okay? So just be very careful that things that you commence and start are not based on negativity and worry and fear and anxiety and all that sort of thing. There can be a need for solitude, a focus upon solitude, and you can visit somebody in hospital. But solitude is a beautiful asset for you during this particular period, first of the month. And it means that you will aspire towards the divine through that introspective side of your nature. Now, Venus is in the 1st house of your horoscope to start the month off with, the 1st of May. And with Venus in the 1st house of your horoscope, Gemini, you're a lot more affectionate and outgoing. There's love in your life. You'll be outgoing in your affections. There's a lot of interest in music and artistic and creative things. You're very loving. And it's a beautiful influence to have Venus in the 1st house of your horoscope. So there's potential there for relationships, romance, extra social activities, and a great deal of love and affection that you're expressing to all who are around you, okay? Now then on the 8th of May, Venus moves into the 2nd house of finances and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks. With Venus in the 2nd house of your horoscope, there's going to be a benefit financially for you in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's a good time for buying and selling things. It's a favourable time for you, and it improves your sense of security in life, not only financially, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, okay? So it's a very good time for you to feel secure and safe, to invest in things, to make purchases, and you should be able to do okay financially during that particular period. Now then on the 22nd of May, the Sun moves into the 1st house of your horoscope and remains there for 30 days, Gemini. With the Sun in the 1st house of your horoscope for 30 days, it means that you'll have a focus upon personal initiatives and interests. You'll have a sunnier disposition during that 30 days, and you seem to be wanting to commence and start projects and ideas. So you really are coming alive with extra vitality and so forth, as a result of having the Sun in the 1st house of your horoscope. Now the next one is on the 6th of June. Venus moves into the 3rd house of your horoscope, Gemini. And with Venus in the 3rd house of your horoscope, there's a lot more social involvements with relatives and neighbours. Romance, if you're in the market for a relationship, romance can even spring from being introduced to somebody through a neighbour or through a relative. There's a lot more love for music. You'll be outgoing in your affections generally, and it's a very, very good time for buying and selling things and entering into contracts or agreements. Then on the 22nd of June, Gemini, the Sun moves into the 2nd house of finances and matters relating to your security. So for 30 days, there's a focus of your personality upon financial matters and matters relating to your sense of security in life, okay? Now let's look at Jupiter, because Jupiter is a major beneficial influence in our horoscope wherever it sits. And Jupiter is in the 3rd house of your horoscope during this entire period. Now with Jupiter in the 3rd house of your horoscope, you've already been feeling this influence there for some months now. But Jupiter in the 3rd house of your horoscope during this particular 2-month period that we're looking at is going to give you a desire to expand your understanding, to expand your consciousness. There'll be benefits coming through signing contracts and agreements. There'll be benefits from buying and selling things. There'll be benefits in life through dealings with relatives and neighbours, with Jupiter in the 3rd house of your horoscope, Gemini. And there's a tremendous urge to expand that consciousness of yours through study, research and investigation. And so that's probably why you're actually watching this particular video at this time, because you had a desire to expand your understanding. Now, Jupiter moves quite rapidly during this particular 2-month period, May and June, from 13 degrees Leo to 21 degrees Leo. Now, if you've got any planets in that region between 13 degrees and 21 degrees Leo, then it means that Jupiter forms a conjunction with those, and that's going to bring tremendous benefit for you through those conjunctions. If you want to know more about what those conjunctions mean and that sort of thing, you can order your horoscope number 2 or horoscope number 3 from me through my website. Now, look, you, Gemini, are a very spiritual person, okay? And what I suggest that you do is that you go to my website, and there's a YouTube video page of my website, and find the video in there that's one of my latest ones that's just been released, called The Meaning of Your Dreams. That is the most liked video out of all of my videos that I've ever released, okay? And I've had 330,000 viewings of my videos, so there's a lot of people who've been inspired by my works. But this one, released only 2 weeks ago, The Meaning of Your Dreams, has got more people ticking the like box than ever before, percentage-wise. Now, you won't see that there's tens of thousands of viewings of that particular video, because it's only for those on the crest of the wave of evolution like yourself. So I suggest that you look at that and see why it's so well liked, and that will inspire you to want to go further through my intensives and become more of who you really are, Gemini. So it's nice to have this opportunity to be able to talk with you. You can always find my website address in the description of my video, okay? The website address is always there in case you need to be able to go to that website and see what's going on currently. So it's nice to have this opportunity to be able to talk with you, and I wish you well during this 2-month period, Gemini. Thank you.